What's up, everybody? Just wanted to do a video and talk about where I'm at on the fireplace. So I went through 750 screws today, and I ran out and I still don't have enough. So I gotta go back and get more screws again. But we gotta get just some pieces cut for these two bottom sections. And I got to get the tractor out, I think, and move all these rocks out of the way because there's a lot of rocks here. I think I'm going to clean things off and back things up a bit so I can get good access at those bottom sections. And that's pretty much it. Just need to mesh off those two bottom sections, and I've got a little spot right there I've got to get. And then other than that, I think I've got pretty much everything all meshed off. Oh, and I've got to get a little bit on this side and the back here. So I finally just got this all buttoned up, and I actually also cut this excess concrete board off, flush the whole way down, and I'm just gonna fill in this with a little bit more concrete board to kind of create different kind of contours for the side and the back wall here. It's all going to be covered in concrete, kind of like this right here. Just hasn't been finished yet, but so yeah, I got the back completely, that's all screwed down finally up on the top. Like, we're all buttoned up here, other than there are a few gaps up there that I'm going to be filling with, that's all going to be covered in concrete. So there's going to be a solid pour of concrete on top of that. That's all covered in fiber mesh reinforcement. So it'll be reinforced concrete. And then once I get done with the concrete, I'm also going to lay more stones up there. And there are going to be stones to cap off the chimney. And I've already got those stones all picked out, and I'm kind of hoping the measurements work right. Obviously, I've got to get these two back sections framed in, and then I've got to build two doors, access doors, for each side here. So I need to be able to get inside. So this is where my thermoelectrics are going to take place, and this is why I need to have access to each left and right side. I don't actually have the thermoelectrics for the left and right sides yet. So when I begin, I'm just going to use a piece of steel, and I've got to trim things out a little bit to get this to fit in there, but this piece of steel will be super duper snug. And I've also got some ceramic insulation that's going to go around the edge of that to make sure that it's a super snug fit once it's all set in place. And then this is going to be my hot surface on each side for what will heat the thermoelectric generators that are going to generate electricity in the fireplace. I've got a couple of openings here. There are going to be speakers, but I want to keep the critters outside, so I was thinking about how I'm going to do this, and I think I may just have a permanently screened window and just get some, maybe even like a couple of layers of those heavy-duty animal mesh screens, and just kind of permanently affix it in there, and then a couple of layers of screen. I think it'd be unlikely for anything to be able to get through other than like the tiniest spiders and bugs and stuff like that. But there are going to be speakers in here, so I want to keep the critters out. And the speakers are there's also going to be access to Bluetooth and other electronics that are going to control and talk to the fireplace. So I can't have a stone facade for those spots, because obviously we're not going to get a good wireless signal through a rock or a masonry surface. So there are two openings, and since there are openings, there's also going to be speakers, because I like music. And but this is going to be Thermoelectric's primary bay. This is a 2-foot long bay, and I've got another piece of steel inside for this section, and I've also got to glue some of that ceramic insulation on both sides of that, and then I will start with the 5 thermoelectric generators on this back surface here. I can fit 4 more or 8 more on the ones that I'm going to put on either side here. So this is the other one on the other side. As you can see, I've also got this big opening here. That gap is just big enough for me to reach my arm up inside, and what that's going to enable me to do is take these big, huge, long strands of fiber optics and drill some holes through the masonry once I get the concrete surface done on the outside, and it's a nice, solid, uniform piece of concrete. I will drill through and find spots that I can then take buckets and buckets of these different types of crystals, which are different types of crystals that are transparent, and I've passed light through all of these just to test them. And I've got just buckets and buckets of them. There's blue ones, there's green ones. These ones are actually not transparent, they're just in there. These are pieces of quartz that are incredibly clear. These things pass light like a light bulb. They really light up. I've got a lot of these that I found naturally that are going to be in the masonry and lit with fiber optics. And the fiber optics actually change color, which make these really nice clear ones perfect, because they'll just show whatever, you know, is being passed through the fiber optics. Whereas like this green one will turn everything green and tint everything green. So everything that passes through it, you know, it might be purple being sent to it, which it would be interesting to find out what green and blue and different other colors of crystals look like when purple is being passed through them, or red or yellow, because there's a bunch of different colors that will come out of this. This will be powered by these dual head LED RGB fiber optic light emitters. So there's 2 of these. And again, this will be positioned somewhere, you know, maybe like right here where the antenna, where it has a Bluetooth controller, can easily get access to it. And it's going to be powered by 12 volts, which the whole system will be a 12 volt system. But I'm going to use buck down converters to take the 50 volts that I'll get from 5 tags in a series, and I'm going to take the product of that and put it to a 12 volt buck down converter. So it's going to take all that power and focus it down to 12 volts and however many amps that turns out to be, and it's going to drive all the lights with that power, as well as charge a battery, and then a 12 volt audio system, just like a car would have, will be what's inside here, so that I can listen to music with a Bluetooth receiver. And then I may also use some sort of an AI device to communicate with the temperature on the back of the steel, just so I know how hot the steel is getting. But I'm getting excited. It's been over a year in the work on this project, and finally got everything getting to the point where I'm ready to actually finish the face of the concrete. And it's just been a ton of driving screws into this stuff. There's so many screws that need to be affixed to each piece of concrete board. And then once the concrete board is up, I've got to go back over everything again and screw the mesh lath onto everything so that it's all nice and reinforced. The mesh lath is basically a reinforcement that'll hold that whole piece of concrete together as one. And obviously there's fiber mesh everywhere now. So that's a good thing. I'm missing a little spot right there. Through the middle and right there. I'll probably put one more piece up to kind of make sure that there's nothing missing. I'd rather have overlap and double up at a couple of places than have anything not covered in the mesh. But once everything gets nice and set from that, then I'm going to be able to begin doing my rock mosaic and gluing all the different rocks that you see here and other ones that I've cut in other places onto the masonry surface. So up next, I'm probably also going to start digging a hole right here so I can sink a well, so that this has enough direct access to fresh, cold water from down in the aquifer that's only just a few feet below my feet here. When I dug the hole for my greenhouse over there in 2020, when I got to the end, at the end by where that lilac is, I was about 7 feet underground there, and I started to hit water, and that's why I quit, because everything started to get wet. The depth that I'm already at right here, probably almost halfway. I probably only have to get a few more feet to get to the same kind of 7 feet depth. So I'm going to just keep digging this hole right here until I get to wet ground, and then I'm going to sink a shallow well so that I can pump water straight from the ground to cool my thermoelectrics. And anytime you light a fire, that well will be activated and it will pump right out of the masonry here. And then this will be a stream that flows water over to the end right here. And then this will be a waterfall and it'll land down there. And this will also be all finished off with a rock mosaic. So lots of rocks to affix, but that's actually the fun part that I've been looking forward to and starting this project the whole time, was to get creative with a big rock mosaic. So I'm looking forward to that part. I'm really getting excited that I'm finally getting there. I'm finally getting to the point that I get to start getting just creative and placing rocks and that kind of stuff. But anyways, I hope you're well. Take care. Have a great day. Dude says, what up?